Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the June 18, 2019 Board of Selectmen's meeting. Can I have a roll call, please?
All five selectmen are present, as well as Town Council Richard Bowen,
Okay.
absent Town Administrator.
Pledge of Allegiance. How about you, Tracy?
Pledge of allegiance.
Yeah, that would have been nice. We could have done it together. Okay. Announcements, please. Mr. Slavin.
Let's see what we got today. Historical Society, the event is now June 24th, 7 p.m., Methodist Meeting House, 495 Main Street. Join the Historical Society on Monday, the 24th, 7 p.m., to hear a potted history of Wareham, Dorset, England, presented by John Wright. Mr. Wright is an expert on the history of Wareham, England, and will be visiting our own Wareham with his wife, Marie, this summer. He's also interested in learning more about our town, so upon his return to England, he can present a talk about Wareham, Mass. Wareham, England is a historic market town located on the River Frome. The first mention of the town in written records was in the year 784. That's a little while ago. A rich detail of history dating from the Anglo-Saxon period through its Civil War and 2 World Wars will be fascinating to anyone interested in our town's namesake. This presentation is open to the public, free to Historical Society members, non-members, $2. There will be 2 car shows coming up. First one at the Tremont Nail facility on June 29th. It will be sponsored by the Historical Society. Next one will be on July 13th, sponsored by OBA. Will be a combination pig roast entertainment and car show at the VFW at Ballpark over on Ave. And that's all I have.
All right. Mr. Manise.
Let's see, we have some volunteer trail
Yeah.
work day. at
You're
the
going to get yelled
Douglas,
at.
I didn't want Bob to yell at me. You're welcome. Thanks, guys.
Bob just yelled at you anyways.
You're going to get
Yeah,
the
that's, he was giving me a break
secret.
because
It's
I'm the
going
new
to come
guy.
over the thing.
At the Douglas S. Westgate Preserve, which is a town property, do some trail clearing, 10 a.m. to noon, June 29th. So hope we'll have a good day, and maybe you can come on out and give us a hand. We worked, I think, I don't know if it was in the winter or fall, too, so it shouldn't be too bad. And then, I still haven't gotten the agenda, but the Carver-Marion Wareham Regional Refuse District will be meeting the 26th, 5 p.m. at the Carver Fire Station. Anybody who's interested in the situation. That's
Okay.
about it.
Awesome. Nothing for you, Mary?
The Wareham Garden Club's biannual, triannual garden tour is coming up July 13th. It starts off at the Wareham Free Library, where you will get your map and things like that. There'll be a box lunch for sale. Everything needs to be pre-ordered for the box lunch, so just keep your eyes open for the ads in the paper and buy your tickets, take all your friends. It's our annual biggest fundraiser that we have. It's how we are able to plant all the gardens around town, do scholarships and garden therapy.
Okay. The drop-in center is open tomorrow night. Opens at 5 o'clock. It's at the Church of the Good Shepherd on High Street. Anybody who's having trouble with drug addiction, alcohol addiction, have it what you may, or is having trouble with somebody who's having trouble with those issues, and you want to know how to help and what you can do and all that kind of stuff, go by the drop-in center. There's great help over there for everybody. And if you know somebody who needs to get into a facility, that's the place to take them. I guarantee you they'll get them a bed. And beds are hard to come by, but they have a unique way of getting people into when they need to. So that's a place to go. Get down there if you need it. It's a good service. All right, next up is the citizens' comments. Come on down. We haven't seen you in a while. You've been on vacation.
Should have stayed away longer.
Huh? Should have stayed a little while. Nah, it's all right. She's got a few weeks' worth probably lined up, though.
Good evening, Sandy Slavin. Not on the list, just a comment. It was my turn to do the dump run this week. And as I drove into it, there was a pile of trash somebody left just outside the gate to our dump. And I think that's just, I sure hope the cameras caught them and can make them come and pick it up because it was pretty nasty. Okay.
Yep, all the time.
Last meeting, there was some comments about a change for the fall town meeting for when articles are due. I know we're going to talk about that in a meeting with, conference call with someone that's going to do that. But I thought when we did the charter change, it was to change the spring because of the election. I didn't think we were changing the dates for the fall. I thought the charter change was to do the election at a different time and change the dates for the
No,
spring.
I think it affects all the dates in general for calling a town meeting as a whole.
It does. It eliminates the 45-day posting requirement.
For
And that
both
was
town
all-
meetings?
Yes.
Okay, so it wasn't just the change to the election date? So I look forward to a time frame for when CPC needs to get their articles in.
Well, as it stands right now, just so everybody knows, that hasn't come back yet from the AG. So we're working under the old rules.
So we're still looking at the second week in
Correct.
September?
Yes, we're still looking at that right now. If it should come in the meantime before we open the meeting, then we'll be under the new rules. If
Right.
it happens after, then we'll be under the old rules. I mean, that's all.
So CPC should be looking for the second week in September
I
to
would
get
think
our,
so.
just to be
Yes,
safe?
just to be conservative.
I would think so. And the thing
Second
is
week in
that the
September.
articles, we have to be more on top of this time because they're going to use, as everybody knows, electronic voting
Mm-hmm.
as a sample for the first time. And everything has to be in and up for the camera, in order to put it into the computer and all that so that they can vote. So we're gonna have to be better at getting stuff in, so, just for everybody's knows. And that's for us too as well.
Everybody.
I don't want to say this enough, but I'm going to say it a lot before this is over.
Okay. Charter Review Committee. I haven't heard anything about forming the committee.
Well, we don't
What-
have a committee yet. We only
I know
have,
you-
we don't have enough members. And I said, as soon as we can get enough people, and we keep posting it, we talked about it last week, we talk about it every week. As soon as we have enough, I will.
What is enough? I can't find anything.
Requires 9.
Yeah, but you can do less than 9 to get
No.
it started.
No, it requires 9 according to the charter.
I can't find it in the charter, and I
Well, it
looked
is
at
there.
7.1.b, and I can't find where it
I'll
says
pull it out
9.
because I remember it requires 9.
But it doesn't, it has to have 9.
Yeah,
So,
it was 9. If I'm not mistaken, it's 9.
Okay, I would just, until somebody steps up, I think we got 7 now,
I think there's 7, yeah,
We
so we need
can't-
2 more.
That's
you
good.
can't form a committee.
It's one more than last week. I checked last week and it was 6, if they got 7.
So we're getting them. As soon
This-
as we
my
get them,
con-
we'll do
My
it.
concern is that by charter, the Charter Review Committee must present their changes at the first annual town meeting that ends in 0, which means spring town meeting. So we're less than 7 months away from doing a review, public hearings, articles, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm asking the public, please step up. This is your chance to review the charter and make a change in the direction if you want for the town of Wareham. Until
We
we
keep
have the
promoting
9, you won't.
We've posted it, we've advertised it, we've done everything so far. Go ahead, Alan.
the way it works, since I did the last one around, the Board of Selectmen will set a time frame for the Charter Review Committee once we establish it. And when it was done last time, it was done for 18 months. Because if you remember, we did the initial, then we came back and, 6 months later and did it again. So,
So you're saying that selectmen can bypass what's in the town charter?
all it says is that any year that ends in a 9, we have a Charter Review Committee. The time frame of how long it lasts is up to the Board of
No,
Selectmen.
the charter says that, I read the charter again. The first annual town meeting ends in 0.
You're
There
not-
must be the report.
That's a report. They can have a report without actually having anything there. The Board of Selectmen can set the time frame of how long the Charter Review Committee can function.
Okay, so we can have the Charter Review Committee can have a report, but not have to have all the articles in by
They have to
ending in
have-
zero?
If
I'm
they-
sorry.
If they're going to make any change for town meeting with warrant articles, it has to be done within the time frame that they're organized, which could be a year and a half
And that won't be set until the selectmen,
until we organize.
We'll see what happens. As soon as we get people, we'll work on that, so.
okay.
What next?
And my last question, where can I go to find what is the job of liaison to the committees? I'm
Well, there-
trying to find out what the roles are.
Okay, so there isn't really a written rule about what they do. Now, some liaisons believe that if somebody calls them and says, I'd like to have you on a meeting, they go there. Some believe that they go every single week. It depends on the liaison, and it depends on the communication with
Yeah,
the board.
my concern is that we have some safety issues in the town, but they're deemed day-to-day, therefore, I can't get help in clearing up some of our safety issues.
Well, which committee are we talking about?
She doesn't want to say.
Mine at Forest. Our trees have been down for 15 months and we can't get the trails cleared.
Okay, so you want the Minot Forest liaison to come to one of your meetings? So just request it and they'll.
No,
come.
I think she wants the Minot Forest liaison to tell the town administrator to do it, which I told the chairman of the Minot Forest Committee I can't do that.
Well, that's right. We can't tell the town administrator to go clean the trail.
So I've done as much as I can as a liaison, which is to forward it again to the town administrator for his disposition.
Because it's been on a plate for months, and I'm saying, at what point do we have an accident in the forest because of the downed trees? But
Good point.
it's been there for 15 months, and I know town administrators, and I know that municipal maintenance is out straight, but we got tripping hazards on all our trails. That's all.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, next up, board comments. Alan?
Okay. Swiss Beach Road and Route 6. I had a meeting today with Mass DOT while I was up in Taunton. Basic answer was given that we are not allowed to do anything on that road at all because it's a state road. We can't take the crosswalk out. We
Right.
can't anything. We have to get a permit from the state. So I spoke with Acting Chief Walczek a little while ago. He's provided me with a letter, which I'm going to forward to Mary Jo, I forget her last name, who runs Dot 5, which is our district, asking for a meeting. Either we go there or she comes here to look at the area and see what they'll do for us, what can be done. So we continue to work on this, but it's not easy to do because the speed and the volume and the lack of overall numbers of incidents do not trigger the, a light or anything else, even though we've had 3 incidents since December now.
Well, I sent a letter with the board's request out and cited the 3 incidents that happened within a year's time, which is considerable. And, in my opinion, if somebody is going to get hurt, and it's pretty much a pedestrian, that's the problem that we're talking about here, without a car, without anything, I think they got to look at that differently than to say, well, the numbers aren't there. Because the
that's
first
why-
person that's dead, they're going to say, a dead person, oh, my goodness, whatever.
Well, I think
But
the last
Still dead.
the last accident was sufficient to make someone nervous anyways. So I made the next step, which is
Okay, good.
which get some action.
That's good.
Because I think it was 2 days ago, I was driving down the road, and I had just gone past the intersection, and I saw a wheelchair, a powered wheelchair, going across that crosswalk. And I don't care how fast the wheelchair goes, you're not going to beat a 50-mile-an-hour car. And nobody slows down, and that's a high-speed car, and someone is going to get permanently injured.
The worst problem is people are trying to be nice to the people crossing. So the person in the right lane, as you're
Stops.
facing it, stops.
Not person left lane.
The person in the other lane either comes from behind them or comes down the other way.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're stopped, and drives right by them. The person's coming across in front. They're assuming that because the car's stopped, they have the clear way, and they get hit. And that's exactly what happened to the last 16-year-old who got hit.
Yep.
And that's just, it's because you got 2 lanes of traffic on each side. That's the problem.
Okay,
All right.
next. Cranberry Cottage, they've been down after the fire for well over a year now.
They opened, yeah.
They basically have had a soft opening for this week. They've invited the board, just so you know, I got an invitation a couple days ago for the board to come by and say hello. And I'd ask the residents of Wareham to please help them out. It's been almost, I think, 15 months. Financially, it's been a real hardship for these people, and they need all the help they can. Next in my list of wonderful things, I'm going to leave the newspaper people, I'll give them copies. I don't know if anybody noticed this past weekend, there were yellow signs on telephone poles, utility poles, everywhere. There was 2 particular yard sales, garage sales, where there were
Yeah, I
probably
saw
over
them.
20 signs everywhere. People are not following the sign bylaw. The stuff ends up, rain falls on the ground, nobody picks them up, etc. So I will ask the newspapers to please print what we passed at town meeting, which is through, which explains things, but it states specifically, you cannot, for yard sales, et cetera, open houses, whatever, you can't place them on public trees, poles, light poles, traffic signs. And it's pretty straightforward. It says also you can't put them on, you can put it on private roads or owned property, but not on state, town, or county, or utility-owned properties. So I'll have these for the newspapers to please put in there, because the average person in the public doesn't read the sign bylaws, ignores them anyways, and just so you understand, fine per day, if you get written up, is $250 per sign per day. Those 2 signs in particular I mentioned being over 10 signs each, that's approximately $2,500 each time it's written up. I don't think you want to have to pay that. So please follow the rules. We're trying to clean this town up, and myself personally are getting really aggravated with it. Next is the energy aggregation. I'm just going over it again. We did it last week. Please understand that this program was originally voted by town meeting to save the people money by guaranteeing rates for long term. The program has to be by state rules, an opt-out program, not an opt-in. It wasn't our choice. This is the way it works. The rate is about 1.07 and a fraction, guaranteed over 17 months. Right now, your rate from Eversource is 1.358. August 1st, it goes down to 1.08. Reason being is they're afraid they're going to lose a bunch of customers for the electrical usage, and they're trying to keep people in there. Come 6 months, the rate's going to go up again from Eversource. So the savings is not very much. The savings will increase over a period of time. But it gives you a fixed rate for 17 months. And at the end of 17 months, we will go back into the original group we tried to get into, which we missed because of town meeting timeframes. And we'll be part of 23 other communities plus another 5. So we'll be a block of 28 communities, which gives us even more leverage for savings. If you're not comfortable with this program, if you don't like someone telling you to have to use it, it's very simple. You opt out. If you want to opt in, you can opt in at any time. But it is a guaranteed savings. It may be $5 a month right now, but it will increase as it goes along. And this was done with the idea to try and save the citizens and the businesses of Wareham money. The town of Wareham cannot participate in this. This is strictly for the residents and business people. So if you have a question, you can call me, you can call Town Hall. We'll be happy to explain it. But this was done not for us, but for you. Thank you.
All right, Jim?
I don't think I mentioned this last week, but a lot of times I'll go out for breakfast and I'll walk around either Wareham Village or Onset Village or whatever. I was over to Onset and went over to the pier to see the replacement, and they replaced a pier that looked pretty nice. It's either mahogany or teak decking. I wasn't sure. I was pretty surprised at that. And looks nice. They're doing some plantings on the bluff, both for the bluff stabilization and then front along Onset Ave. And
Plants there.
yeah,
It's 1,000 plants.
yeah, looks nice. It'd be very nice once it takes. And they're working on the lights. And I think Derek said that they had replaced a couple of the LED lights, and someone had already taken them out. So maybe they'll have to put a safety screw in it or something. I don't know.
Electrify them.
Yeah. A video camera up there. And I guess that's about it. Thanks.
All right. Peter? No? Mary?
Nope.
All right, so I saw people talking about the bathhouse again, and it's amazing. Some people said, well, I didn't know anything about it, whatever. You know, through all the hearings and all the stuff that happened, I didn't hear anything about it. And it looks like it's getting way bigger. All of a sudden, it's bigger than it used to be or whatever. And I tried to explain to people, although nobody seems to listen very much, that the building is going to be the same size as the original. And a matter of fact, they uncovered the original footprint. So it'll be the size of the original. Now, it's going to be the height of the original, not really. They're going to lower it a little bit. It's actually a little bit less because some people did complain about the height, so they tried to lower it a little bit to try to appease everybody. People were saying, well, somebody should sue because they don't have a view. I didn't know that anybody on the bluff had a view. I mean, you know, is there a house on the bluff that I don't know about that's going to be restricted by its view?
But you can see down there.
Huh?
You can see down there.
Yeah, you can still see down there, and you'll still be able to see when it's there. You'll be able to see right over it.
But if it's higher.
So, I can't, I'm sorry. But you'll be able to see right over it anyway. So it's absolutely ridiculous. And then they said, well, you know, it's one thing or the other. Anyway, the point is that this is a good thing for the kids of this community. This is a good thing for this town as a whole. These kids get to go there and do all these different events, and they learn to swim and canoe and, you know, whatever. They go over and they see nature and all this kind of stuff. We never had any of that. What's wrong with that? That's a good thing, not a bad thing. Let's kind of get on board here, and let's, you know, kind of make this a good thing instead of a bad thing. Why are we trying to take a good thing and turn it bad? It seems like we want to do that all the time. And then I see some people say, this is a toxic environment. Oh, because you know it is Wareham. Are you kidding me? This is a beautiful town with beautiful people. I know myself. I had problems one time, and they came to my aid. And I've seen them come to a lot of people's aid in this town. And I'll bet you there's a lot of people out there that have been the recipients of the people of this town coming to their aid. These are good people. This is a good town. Try to get in, try to love it a little bit, instead of always talking bad about it. Okay, I'm getting off my soapbox. Next up, appointments, reappointments, so on. That's for you, Mary.
All right.
I'm off my soapbox.
All right, good. All right, appointments. We have a whole bunch of poll workers. How many do we have, Jim? 50?
I think it was 54 I counted, but
54. So I'm going to do this in one big bulk and make a motion that we appoint all of the poll workers as presented in this
Okay,
file
motion
that I
made by
have.
Mary, seconded by Alan. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, unanimous, 500.
Thank you.
You have one for the Cemetery Commission?
Yes.
got a reappointment.
I don't know where his folder is, but
Yeah, Jack, yeah, it's
I don't
reappointment.
see Jack here.
Oh, we got to
Somebody have
sign
my
all those poll
folder?
worker ones, huh?
No.
It's not there?
We got to
No,
sign
I'm
all
sure
those
it's
poll
here.
workers.
It's just not in order.
Well, they're never in order.
Sign all
Huh?
those poll.
They're never in order.
Better circulate it now.
You usually have them in order. Is it after that? Is it on the second page on that?
It's not on here, no.
I got requests for signs, I got,
I don't know what the
Christmas parade.
dates are, so we can't go. If we don't have it, we're gonna have to skip it until next week.
I don't have it.
Okay, then we'll skip it.
It's for 3 years.
Huh?
It's for 3 years. Is it 3
Yeah,
years or 5
I don't know
years?
what the
don't have it
date's
unless
gotta
it's
be,
like in
so
the
we'll have to
backside of
check.
that folder there.
Yeah, is it in the back of that folder by any chance?
Yep.
There it is.
There
right
it is. All right, so we won't
Give
skip
it
it.
back to me. There you go, Mary.
Okay, so this is the reappointment for Jack Silva for the Cemetery Commissioners. Jack isn't here, so I will make a motion that we approve Jack for the Cemetery Commissioners for a term to expire no later than June 30th, 2020.
Motion made by Mary, seconded by Alan. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, unanimous, 500.
Just to make a comment, that's for 1 year, which means Jack probably is only going to serve 1 year and then step down.
Okay.
So we'll need someone to be ready.
Somebody to be ready to fill that position. All right, hearing at approximately 7:15 for the project Half Shell Inc., DBA Quahog Republic, for an alteration of premises of a seasoned common viticular all alcoholic beverage license under the provisions of Chapter 138 of Massachusetts General Laws for the year 2019. Can I have a motion to open the hearing, please?
So made.
Motion made by Alan. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Peter. Roll call. Peter.
Yes.
Alan.
Yes.
Jim.
Yes.
Mary.
Yes.
Pat, yes. Hearing is open. Is there anybody here to give testimony for this tonight? Come on down. You're the man? All right.
My name's Eric. I don't know about that, yeah.
You speak right into the microphone and tell us who you are and what you've changed, that you're changing the premises.
Sure. My name is Eric Bevins. I'm I'm the co-owner of the Quahog Republic Company. We're looking to expand our dining area into where Jamie Souza had an ice cream shop previously. She's moved over to the addition that was put on last year, or this past winter, and we're hoping to get about 30 seats out of it and have some inside dining, hopefully to be able to extend our season and be able to be open a little longer. It's just the majority of our stuff's outside, so this is a good opportunity for us to grow a little bit and be present in the village a lot longer than we normally are. So that's our intent.
Okay, actually saw, there's a drawing in there, I saw the drawing, and where the extension of the space goes. Yep, there it is, right there. They can't see that, but
Right.
yeah. We saw the drawing, so I don't have a problem with this. Anybody have an issue? Have you seen the drawing?
No, but that's not the point. Do we have something from the building inspector?
Everything's in the file.
Just check to see, make sure we have, if we don't have it, make sure we have it in the file they signed off.
Building inspector, electrical inspector, gas
Everybody,
and
yeah.
plumbing,
Yeah,
fire
just-
chief,
I
town
looked at it
collector, health
earlier,
I want to
inspector.
read it in the record, that's why.
Yep,
Yes.
everything's there.
So they can't come back and give them a hard time afterwards.
We got
Everything's
it.
there, he's all set.
Thank you.
He did everything he needed to do, and his insurance, everything is all there, so we're good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All
Thanks,
right,
Eric.
hold on,
Quickly.
hold on.
Well, I was going to sit down while you
Any
guys...
questions of the board, please?
No, I think Eric's been really a good neighbor, et cetera, you know. When this board, quite a few years ago, made him put up a petition that went up about 30 feet in the air, which I'm exaggerating, which made it pretty tough as far as heat and stuff behind there. Well, it did keep the onset wind out, but after a couple of years ago, I think we told him to go ahead and lower it so it'd be reasonable, because people were originally concerned that people would be passing, you know, drinks over as a street and everything else, and he's worked with us all the way through, so I'm happy to do whatever we can for him.
Okay, does anybody have any questions? Go ahead.
Actually, I was going to get to that point. You know, I think since the time we did allow outdoor alcohol service there, I think it was back in 2012 when we originally gave you that license, I think the board's approach to facilities that have outdoor service has modified and relented a bit. I would suggest that if you want to lower that barricade or even eliminate it, you should come back.
We already gave him permission,
Yeah,
actually.
I got a call from the town administrator probably over 2 years ago regarding that. He said if we wanted to lower it, we could. We chose not to do anything at that time because it just cost us so much to build and
Yep.
to take it down. So this year, with making some improvements like we try and do every year, we opted to lower it probably about halfway, and there's a little bit of a rail right there with some seats. It's worked out pretty well, so.
Are you leaving it up as a windscreen?
No, it's, the bottom part still has the plexiglass, but the top part's completely gone now. Yeah, so that's one of the detriments, because it is so windy down in Onset. But with it up, it was like you're stuck in a fishbowl, and it was just super hot and very uncomfortable for guests, so it's worked out pretty good so far. You know, hopefully some sunshine, we'll really get a chance to see how it goes.
Okay.
Okay, great. Any other questions? All right, seeing none, I'll ask somebody to close the public hearing, please.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mary, seconded by Peter. Roll call. Alan?
Yes.
Jim?
Yep.
Mary?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Pat, yes. Okay, what's your pleasure, folks?
Okay, I will move that we grant the alteration of premises for a seasoned common vic all alcoholic beverage license under the provisions of Chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Laws for the year 2019 to the Cohog Republic, AKA
Project Half Shell.
Half Shell?
Yeah.
It's Project Half Shell, Inc.,
Project
DBA
Half Shell, Inc.,
DBA Cohog
DBA
Republic.
Cohog Republic.
Second.
Motion made by Mary, seconded by Peter. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed,
Aye.
abstaining, it's unanimous. Thank you, good luck.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Take care, Eric.
Yeah.
Next up is an application for a change of DBA from Gourmet Gardens Wareham, Inc., DBA Gourmet Gardens Wareham, Inc., to DBA Ginger, and I don't know if this is a corporation or not, you should probably look on the form. 2421 Cranberry Highway, Wareham, Mass. All right, this doesn't require a public hearing, all it does is require for us to allow the application change. Just Ginger, that's it, nothing else, okay.
It's probably what they're gonna call the operation.
Yeah, okay.
No big deal.
All right, so is there any discussion relevant to this?
No.
No, could I have a motion, please?
I move that we, application change of DBA.
Allow the name change.
That we allow the name change, there you go.
Yes, from Gourmet Garden to DBA Ginger.
Okay. Motion made by Mary, seconded by
Second.
Alan. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous. Next is to vote on a pay raise for election to poll workers because of the change in the minimum wage.
Correct.
You have that in there somewhere.
This is all I have in this folder.
Okay, what else, you got another folder there?
So let
See,
me,
this is the rates.
all right.
These are the fees, so as presented, these are the new
Okay,
rates, okay?
all right.
Go
So
ahead.
let's do
Bearing
it
with me,
as
people.
presented, they're all right here, every single, what everybody gets is right there,
Want
okay?
to list these individually, or is it
And this
just
is gonna
all the-
reflect the change in the minimum wage. All right, so as presented,
Okay.
go ahead.
I move that we approve the pay raise for the election poll workers as
Okay,
presented.
Second.
all right, motion made by Mary, seconded by Peter. Any discussion?
I just want to reiterate what Patrick said. That means the base rate for the poll workers is $12 an hour. And I think the registrar at each poll gets 14, so it's not like we're, it's just an adjustment necessary. Thanks.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous. Thank you, gentlemen, ladies. Application from Wareham Village Association, P.O. Box 484, Wareham, Mass. 02571, Onset Bay Association, 196 Onset Ave, Onset, Mass. For the use of town roads for their WVA and OBA Fall Festival on Saturday, October 5th, 2019, with a rain date of October 6th. All right, this is your chance.
All right,
The Love Fest.
I'll let
Okay.
Tracy lead. Go
I'm
ahead.
Tracy McGraw, President of the Wareham Village Association.
And Kat Jones, Executive Director of the Onset Bay Association.
Okay.
And we are so excited to present the first ever collaboration of both of our organizations to put forward a fall food truck vendor festival, complete with music, beer, wine, right in downtown Village.
I got to tell you, I went to one in Plymouth. Did you know they had one in Plymouth a few weeks ago?
Yes. At Red Brook, was that at Red Brook?
Couldn't get near the place.
Right.
There was 30,000 people there. You couldn't, I'm telling you, I drove in and we drove out. The line just to get in, to pay the fee to get in, was down the road. It was crazy. I couldn't
It
believe
deters
it.
people. That actually deters people to go from that one because it's just so huge.
To eat off a food truck.
We're not saying we're going to have 30,000 people or anything, but
No, but
this is a good start, you
it's
know.
a pretty
We're
good.
aiming
A
high.
few hundred.
Obviously, they've been doing it for a while. It's a pretty
Yeah.
good gig,
Yes.
apparently.
Yes.
The same thing in New Bedford, you can't get anywhere near it.
Right.
It was wild. All right, so anything else?
I don't know. I just want to say, like, it's exciting for us to finally work together. Tracy and I have been friends for a long time. We became leaders of our respective organizations at pretty much exactly the same time. And being friends and knowing town and loving this town so much, it's just time for us to collaborate on an event. And
Awesome.
I'm excited. Both of our boards are very excited. And the community that knows what we're up to is excited about it too. So we're hoping it goes well, and we have your blessing to move forward.
Yes.
Awesome. All right,
So the one thing on that is we did not apply for the liquor permit, which I know is separate.
you have to do it.
I wanted to, right, but I wanted to get this permit first so that then we can bring on whomever's going to be our vendor,
That's fine.
and then we'll move forward for that
That's
permit.
fine. That's fine.
Yeah, we're thinking of some local companies, of
Yeah,
course,
this
like
is
maybe
in
Cape Cod
October, so
Beer
you have
or,
plenty of time.
yeah, we have
Right.
time.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, Alan's got a question.
Anybody, Alan?
Oh, go ahead, Alan. You got a question?
Yeah, two things. One, thank you. It's been a long time coming.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it. Everybody keeps forgetting this is the town of Wareham, and we all have to work together.
Yes.
Now, the other piece is, have you both applied separately for this event with CEC? We still have some money.
We
Okay.
both have funds individually for our organizations, but we did not apply as one. I don't believe that we did you?
No.
No,
I
we
think
did not go
if-
forward as one.
If you'd like to put something in, why don't you try and do it the next week or so?
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah, they
Great.
do. They came in last week. They have some funds.
Yes, CEC has been very generous to both of our organizations over the years. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else? Motion, please.
All right, I'm very excited to make a motion here for the collaboration with the Wareham Village Association and the Onset Bay Association for use of the Wareham Center and part of Merchants Way for the Fall Festival.
Second.
Motion made by Mary, seconded by Alan. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, abstaining, unanimous, 500. Yay!
Thank you.
Thank you.
All
you
right,
very
how'd it
much.
go?
What's that?
Do I have the
Right,
next
now
one
you're
up
here
too?
for another
just
thing,
stay.
so.
Go back? I
Tracy,
stay.
Oh, you could stay.
Stay
Will.
put.
Oh, I have to stay.
Application for the Wareham Village Association, P.O. Box 484, Wareham, Massachusetts, for the use of town roads for the annual Christmas parade on Saturday, December 7th, 2019, beginning at 3 p.m. Anything you want to say? You want to advertise it or something while you're here?
Sure, I will always be willing to do that. I already have people registering for this. They're just so excited. As you guys know, it grows every year. It's so fun. I love it. So glad I took it on with the help of my board now and some friends of mine. It's smooth operation. Love it. Can't wait.
Okay. Alan?
No, motion to
Anybody?
approve. Simple as that.
Motion approved by Alan. Seconded by?
Second.
Mary. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, unanimous, 500. Okay, you can go now. Thank you.
No, I think I have one more, don't I? Signage.
sign.
Oh, yeah.
Can we expect you as a board to be members of the,
I should hope so.
okay,
We
in the
better
parade?
get.
Yay.
Great
we
time
better
last
be
year.
invited.
Signage for.
Of
We had
course you
fun.
are.
Yep.
Put signs out.
Yeah, I almost,
Clarify
we didn't
Huh?
keep up to the car. I don't know how Alan didn't get lost. He
Okay.
was like, he was way back.
Yeah, we kept losing Alan.
We'll pick him up in the fire truck on our way
Anybody see
by.
Alan anywhere? Application for the Wareham Village Association for a temporary sign permit.
All right, this was this for the Christmas fair? Or-
I put in there for everything that we're doing, including the Fall Festival.
Okay,
So it's the Scarecrow Contest, which isn't a lot of signage, really. Trick or Treat on Main Street, again, is not a lot of signage, but the Christmas Parade and then the Fall Festival, we will want
Right.
a lot more signage. And then the direction of the traffic, our little signs that we stick in, that's all
Yeah.
part of that, is
Yeah.
correct? That we're
Nope,
directing
that's good.
traffic up the hill?
That's good, you get it out of the way all at once, too.
Yep.
yep.
All right,
Okay.
motion made by
I move that we approve the sign placement for the Wareham Village
Mary,
Association.
seconded by Alan. He's having fun over there today. Motion made by Alan. Is there any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous, 5-0.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you so much. Okay, vote to accept a parcel of land on 50 Pond Street, map 50D, lot 87. What? Did I
Have the
miss
update
something
for
down
the-
the
yeah.
bottom? Sorry. Oh, sorry, can't have that.
No.
Update from the Community Preservation Committee. I'm sorry, I missed that. Come on down.
Introduce yourselves.
That's why I grabbed it first.
Come on down.
Grab another chair.
Grab a couple of chairs, try to talk up to the microphones and... Hello.
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 Good evening. Community Preservation Committee, we're a member of 7 people. Please introduce yourselves.
I'm Barbara Smith from Onset.
Joan Kinneberg from Onset.
Sandy Slavin.
Jean Connaughton.
George Barrett.
All right, awesome. So why don't you tell us what your committee's doing, what you're up to, what you're looking forward to doing, that kind of stuff.
All right, who wants it?
As I just threw a ball at you to see if you can run with it.
Well, we are responsible for managing the community preservation funds, which right now is in excess of $1 million. It's our responsibility to accept and review grants we receive and make recommendations to the selectmen that they be placed on the town warrant for a town meeting to vote on the disbursement of the funds. We cannot spend the money until it's approved by the town. We then oversee, wrong word. We watch over the particular projects and review and approve for payment as expenses are submitted So nothing gets paid until CPC approves payments.
So if a grant, let's say a grant comes in, and you issue, the grant is granted by town meeting, and it's my grant for, I don't know, fixing up a baseball field or whatever. I'm just arbitrarily, I don't know if that happens, but whatever it is. And so as I do what I said I was gonna do, then you authorize the payment, is that how that works?
You submit the invoice to us, we look at the particular site that work has been done, and approve the payment.
Okay.
And it requires 2 signatures to release funds. It isn't just one person controlling it, it requires 2.
That's good, okay. That's good. Does anybody have any questions?
No, I think I'll try and sleep in my bed tonight instead of the garage, so I'll be quiet.
You're in the garage
I could be,
already?
not yet.
Jim, you have any questions?
Yes, I do. As you had brought up the boathouse earlier, I'm wondering about the status of the CPC grant for historical preservation on the boathouse and how that stands moving forward, seeing the boathouse was demolished.
And your question is?
Does it still stand for historic preservation?
Yes.
Or would it be recreation now?
No, it was historic preservation. The grant was that they would restore the building to what it looked like prior to demo. And it was granted for 215, I think,
Yeah, something like that.
and that has been dispersed to them.
It already has been
Yes.
dispersed. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I don't have
Anybody?
any questions.
Do you have any, I know periodically you come to us to get articles on, take away prior allocations because projects never took place. Have those all been cleaned up for the most part, or do we have any outstanding long-term?
There may be a couple left. Right now, I think the only one I'm aware of is maybe a couple $100 for the Oakdale, but we're still trying to buy an outdoor light, so that might be accommodating that. There may be some funds left over for the Lopes Engineering. We're trying to get confirmation that there'll be no more engineering expenses on the Lopes project. Did I say it right? Yeah, the Lopes Playground. But we try very hard to look at all the projects that have been approved and where they stand in using it. We know that the Historical Society has 2 grants outstanding for restoration of 2 of their buildings. They're working on RFPs for both buildings. We finally got our first invoice for the bike path engineering. Yes, and we've been receiving some invoices for historic district mapping, so that some of the older ones are being worked on.
Okay.
So we're trying very hard to keep on top of the projects, make sure they're being moved forward. We have 2 projects that have been submitted to us for fall town meeting. $40,000 being requested out of a $70,000 project for completing 5 soccer fields out at Westfield. And what's the other one? Shangri-La's looking for $220,000 to totally build their playground from scratch. And those are our 2 projects that we have received.
I know this was a testy one along the way, but how's the Agawam project coming? Have they underway yet over there, or is there
We're
any?
in the preliminary stages. We're really looking at procurement and
Okay.
talking with the state about that, and we set up an infrastructure committee.
Okay,
So
Oh,
we
good.
you should hear more in about 2 months, I think it'll be.
all right, so that
Well, on
was,
its
that was
way.
a long time coming, and I know it was a testy one along the way, so it's nice to know that at least it's on its way. Anybody else? Anything else? That's it? Well, that's all we have, unless you have something else for us. I appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I bit my tongue.
Well, you guys can,
Someone's changing the locks right now.
Yep, exactly.
the locks are being changed as we speak. No, actually, I thought that went pretty good, Alan. I think you're still all right.
Thank you for cleaning up some of that dead
in the
wood
big
that
bed
was on there. That's,
Yeah, maybe.
Right now, one of our oldest,
That's a constant.
yeah,
yeah.
we're constantly looking at it and saying, we don't, with the money still allocated, we can't spend it on anything else. So we're constantly looking to see which is old and can be returned.
No, I'm just glad you're on top of it. It's tough when you ask people to sort of rescind a vote from 10 years ago and they can't even remember what the heck it was. So thank you for that.
All right, so next up is vote on to accept a parcel of land on 50 Pond Street, map 50D, lot 87, from the estate of Paul Volpe. Now, if you remember, Derek brought this up last week, and it doesn't make any sense not to take this piece of land, because otherwise we're just gonna end up taking it for taxes.
It's all landlocked.
Just a waste of time anyway, so.
The only thing is, it takes town meeting vote to accept land. We can't do it.
You know, that's right, they do, don't they?
So we can vote to
To put it on the.
put a future warrant article on, but we can't vote to take the
You're
land.
absolutely right, we can't take this without permission.
Nope.
This is just, comes before the, it comes before us because on the 61A, or whatever it's gonna be, you know, the type of thing, it just had to be signed off by the different committees, and you've got all
Well,
the
we don't have the
sign-offs.
61A papers on it yet.
No, but it's not a 61A anyways.
No.
It's just a piece of land that they wanted us to take.
It has a value of $400.
Yeah, it has
It's
no va-
marsh, it abuts other marsh owned by the town.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, it's,
So it
it-
costs us more to send out
Yeah,
the
she
tax
did
bills
know
and
that.
collect it. And if we did,
Oh, I
if
get
they
it.
did default on it, which it probably wouldn't or would not, but then it's gonna cost you, I don't know how much to try to get, you know, to go
it's,
through the
it's,
court
it's,
process.
it's land of very low value, so I don't see I don't see why town meeting would complain about accepting it, but still, we're just not in the position of acquiring land interests on our own, so it's gotta go through that process as well.
Well, we can make a motion that we agree that we
Yeah,
We'd like
let's
to
make
see
a
the
motion
town,
that we agree to put it on the warrant.
warrant for acceptance, that's all.
So moved.
All right, so motion made by Peter, seconded by
Second.
Jim. Jim got one.
All
You
right.
got in there. I saw the hand up. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous. I forgot that that was a requirement. Okay, next up, any other town business not reasonably anticipated last 48 hours? Nobody has anything. Town administrators report, we don't have one. Liaison reports, Alan.
Okay. We'll go to work here. Commuter rail update, I got some information from State Rep Gifford. She and Representative Strauss will be meeting with Gene Fox and Jim Ing to discuss the commuter rail portion for Wareham. So things are on hold until we hear back. Hopefully there'll be a meeting shortly on that. Cannabis Control Commission, I just want to repeat again, there has been no movement whatsoever on the delivery process for cannabis control or on the social clubs. They're still on hold. Another issue that's come up has been the hemp products. Our Bob Ethier, the health agent, sent me over a letter from the state, which when you read it, you basically want to, you shake your head because it like contradicts each other every other paragraph. And it doesn't give Bob a clear direction of what he can and can't do, so Bob is now researching with the state to try and come up with answers. The only thing it seems we can handle that made sense was if there's any hemp product in food, that's not allowed by the state as of right now. Everything else is, one paragraph contradicts the other, so I'm not sure why that's the way it is.
Well, you know, Alan, worse than that is it says that you'll be able to sell CBD oil as long as you buy it in state by an approved lab, and there are no approved facilities.
As I said, if you read it through, it just, you shake your head and say, what do you do and don't do? Next, SERPED, the MPO, which is the one that does the TIP projects, which are transportation improvement programs. We basically accepted a bunch of things today at the meeting. There's no changes for Wareham as far as 6 and 28. The project on the route, basically the Route 6 project from Wareham through to Fairhaven, changing the highway from a 4-lane road to a 2-lane with a 3rd lane crossing, is moving along and should have a report to Mass DOT by December. Just a sidebar note, the SERPED Commission voted myself as chairman of the SERPED Commission for the next 2 years, just so everybody knows. It's not a big thing. Plymouth County, we had our annual meeting last week on Thursday. A little discouraging. They're doing the best they can, but they did their budget proposals all the way down to 2029, and they're going to run off the cliff, as we call it, on year 2024. At that point they're going to start to show a loss of revenue versus income, versus the actual expenses. By 2029, they'll be running a $4 million deficit. The problem is that the state, in its infinite wisdom, took the deeds receipts back some years ago and went from 50-50 sharing to 90 for the state and 10% for the county, which is wonderful, except the costs and everything keep going up. They need to split it at least 80-20 for the registry to survive, the deeds to survive. So I'll be working through the MMA, et cetera, to try and get a state bill passed to change this particular distribution, because it's going to be extremely detrimental to all the different registry of deeds. MMA meeting was also on Wednesday, the day before, and I'm on the Energy and Environmental Legislative Committee, and the topic on the Energy and Environmental is trash. It's a crisis situation all through the state, actually all through the country. We're looking at all different alternatives. Somebody has to step up to come up with ways of taking care of this, because it's compounding itself, and there's really no solution down the line. Wareham is probably looking at having to have the individual homeowner contract with a trash company to take care of their trash down the line the way it's going. And that's enough for me.
All right, Jim, you're next.
By me.
By you? Okay,
By me,
Peter?
Nah.
Mary?
Nope.
Ah, boy, that went fast. All right, so next up on the list would be the consent agenda. I believe there is none.
Don't we have those bands?
We have some bands, right?
Oh,
Yeah, these are the bands.
the bonds?
Yeah, the bonds, exactly.
Yeah, one of them was for Tremont Nail, I think probably the remediation, and I forget what the other one was.
All right, so,
I think they both were.
we just have to sign these, though.
Yeah, there's no vote.
There's no vote or anything, we just have to sign these, so we can do it after the meeting
For
is.
some reason,
Yeah.
it broke it
The
down.
meeting's over,
All
we'll
right,
sign them.
move to adjourn.
All right.
Second.
Motion made by Mary, seconded by Peter. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, abstaining, unanimous. Thank you, Wareham, have a great week. We are here next week.
Good night, Irene.
We have a public...